Hey everyone, this is Spark Operator Community Call on 14th of December. This meeting will be recorded and published on YouTube, and this meeting is governed by the Kubeflow Code of Conduct. Welcome everyone. So with this, let me pass it to you, Sharon, so you can move forward with your topics.
All right. Yeah, so my first topic for today is the list of maintainers. And we know that actually, let me share my screen. Looks like I need to exit and rejoin in order to grant permissions for sharing screen. Never mind that. So I'll just talk about it. So I was going to talk about the list of maintainers, which we already have 5. So from the GitHub repo in the owners file, we have, let me open that up. Owners. We have 2 categories of maintainers. The first category is approvers, which has the final say about the status and the mergeability of any PRs. And there's another category which is a lower tier for newer committers to prove themselves and make sure that they are ready to become an approver. So that's reviewers tier. Right now we have 2 people in the reviewers category. And Jacob, who's here also in the call today, I believe that Jacob has been doing consistent contributions to the project and attending all these meetings. So in addition to technical contributions, what's equally important is all the involvement in the community and helping out people on GitHub and on Slack. So I'm suggesting that we promote Jacob to an approver. Basically, that's my suggestion.
Yeah,
Thanks for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully
Thanks.
supporting. I know you, Jacob, you review a lot of PRs. We can definitely ping other, maintainers for their feedback. Usually, if you have like at least 3 sponsors from, from the approvers, we can definitely promote folks. I think we recently established the process to become, reviewer and approver within the community, and it's definitely what we need to encourage other folks to do. Yeah, go, Jacob.
Yeah, and welcome. And we're also constantly looking for new community members who are willing to play a more active role in the community. So don't hesitate to voice your opinions on anything that's going on in the repo. All right, so I guess because I'm not able to share my screen, I'll just go to my second topic, which is about.
Sorry, Sharon, do you want to rejoin? I can share my screen. Like, I think you should be able to do so. Like,
no, because apparently because we don't use Zoom at work, so I haven't granted the necessary permissions. Or share, I'll just talk through things.
Yeah, if you can just give me the link, I can share my screen.
So the link is this one. Where do I chat box to group chat? Yeah, this is a GitHub issue that was raised by a community member about adding an alternative means of kicking off a Spark job. So in addition to the default Spark submit, this person is suggesting to have I think what he was saying was a native Go implemented method of starting a Spark job. So his motivation was that the Spark submit way of doing things has low performance, and that's critical, especially when the scale of submissions gets large. And from his experiments, he was claiming that a native Go implementation would significantly boost the performance. And I was a bit hesitant about this proposal initially, and I suggested that this person share a design doc and also some benchmarking numbers with the community, which he did. I haven't got a chance to review, but when I was clicking this link that he shared just now, looks like I don't have access, meaning that most other folks won't have access either. So I think we should review his doc once he opens up access and come up with a consensus on how to move forward. Because if his claim about the performance boost is real, then that's definitely going to be a nice improvement. That said, it does come with a caveat that he also mentioned in his issue, or he or she in the issue, which is the feature parity with Spark Submit, because Spark Submit is maintained and offered by Spark itself. It has all the features. We don't need to worry about certain features not being supported. But with a native Go implementation that we custom implement specifically for the operator, certain features may be missing, and we just have to constantly compare with what's out there in Spark Submit and port over those things. But I don't see that as a huge issue because Spark Submit is relatively stable. There's not too many features or changing things happening there, but I stand corrected. But yeah, we'll need to first review his doc.
I think I might have access to the doc, but
Oh,
I haven't reviewed it either.
yeah.
I think I requested access when he posted it on the issue, but I didn't get the chance to read it yet.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess this person isn't able to join today, but yeah, but we can leave that for next meeting as well.
Yeah, what I also would suggest, if we want to make it consistent, create a cap. Like, Kubernetes has this process of enhancement proposals. And, if you want to contribute any feature to Kubernetes, you need to write a cap. So we try to do the same for like training operator. Maybe you can do the same for Spark operator. And, cap has a very specific format that, all the users can reuse, with motivations, comparison, all those, API changes that is required. So maybe this is the one you can also consider the contributor to convert the proposal to.
So in the meeting minutes, Andre, can you share a link to the training operator process so that we can reference that?
Yeah, we don't have template, but let me try to. I think JobSet has template for this. Let me see. Caps. Yeah, this is a template. So I think this is template similar to what Kubernetes is doing. We're trying to do the same for training operator. So let me share a few examples so you can take a look.
Okay. Yeah, this person has more or less followed a similar format, which is great. But yeah, to formalize this thing will be helpful.
Yeah, just share a few examples. In Kubernetes, I think they also have their own template for caps, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's this one.
I actually do have access to the doc.
Do you want to share your screen, Jacob? So
yes, I may have the same problems, Charan. I have not used I haven't used Zoom on the new Mac yet, so it may not have permission. Yep. I'll rejoin the meeting if you give me 20 seconds. Yep. I'll be back.
Yep.
Yeah, not sure if it's a feature or a bug, or Mac is just too secure.
Yeah, usually you need to create an account, right? If you
Yeah.
want to share the screen.
So so that Jialin, we haven't seen you before in previous meetings. Welcome.
Hi. I know like Andre has shared with our team this link. Like I never got chance to join, and today I have for some free time. I want to just like come here and listen and see
yeah,
what's
sure.
going on.
So are you a fellow colleague at the Apple?
Yeah. I'm in notebook team. I'm the same
Okay.
team
Yeah.
as Andre's.
Jelly, do you want to introduce yourself to the community? Just want to say hello.
Sure. Like, hi. This is Jialin here. I've been with Apple's notebook team for 6 years now. Yeah, mostly working on Jupyter notebook related like control plane components. Kubeflow is something that's like teams really interested in and could be a future product. So I want to learn more about it. So I joined.
Yeah, nice to meet you and
Thanks.
welcome. And
Yeah.
based on your liking, you're also in the Pacific time zone.
Yeah, I'm based in Seattle.
Yeah. Oh, you're also in Seattle. Yeah, I'm in Seattle
Yeah.
too.
Oh, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
We can have lunch together sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks for
All right.
joining. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Jacob.
Andre, do you work at Apple as well?
Yeah, we're in the same team with
That's funny.
We like the thing is like from our team, we using Spark with notebooks very heavily. Like 90% of our users using notebooks with Spark today. That is why very interesting with interactive use cases. I think we've been discussing this before on this meeting, but like our plan to make the Golang Spark operator work with notebooks better in the future as well. So we can think about how we can provide the folks a way to run those interactive workloads, right? And I know there is some many initiatives from the community to make it possible, right?
Yeah, we're actually looking at that at Rocked as well, funnily enough. Same use case.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was having a look at Spark Connect actually. That was my first pick, but I'm not sure how mature that is yet. And I know there's some specific JVM use cases at Rock that would not work with the Spark Connect RPC. So yeah, not sure what the anyway. I do have access to the doc that we were talking about. So I haven't had the chance to read this yet, but we can just have a quick scroll. I mean, up to you guys if you guys want to give it a detailed read or just give it a quick skim.
Yeah, I guess the main goal is to use the Golang client, right, to interact with Spark Connect.
Yeah.
Where this contributor speaks about performance boost compared to existing JVM-based approach.
In the GitHub issue, or maybe, yeah, because I was hoping to see some performance numbers, comparison numbers in this doc. Otherwise, how do we?
Let me
Yeah.
bring up the issue. I'll bring up the GitHub issue in the same tab.
Because in this issue, this author referred to another GitHub, I think another PR, which talked about which implemented a multi-queue mechanism to speed up the submission process, and he was claiming that the performance improvements offered by that PR that were not reproducible on his end, his or her end. So yeah, I think apparently there's some discrepancy between different people's observation about performance.
Yeah, I think one approach that comes to mind that same as what this author's kind of going for bypassing the JVM completely. I guess it depends on what the implementation of. I think this doc kind of focuses more on a plugin mechanism. I'm not actually sure if we even need a plugin. I think we basically just need to utilize the pod template functionality, right? Just convert the fields from the existing spec into a pod template spec and then create the driver pod directly rather than running Spark submit. Just create the driver pod with all the Spark master and all that stuff configured. I think, is there anything in particular that Spark submit runs during the pod launch process that the driver couldn't do on its own if you just created the pod spec directly as a stateful set or something like that?
Good question.
Because there is, I will admit, like under the Apache project, I think it's another Apple engineer actually, the other Spark Kubernetes operator underneath Apache, I think that takes a similar approach where it constructs the pod template spec.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so that Java-based operator is takes on that approach.
Yeah, but I think that operator is solving a different problem though, in that running standalone mode on Kubernetes with a nice CR interface, rather than, I think that one's solving a different problem. Because yeah, it also supports spinning up standalone mode in K8s on stateful sets. But I think the approach, if I remember, I think it directly creates the pods via stateful sets, and it mounts in all the Spark conf and the pod template spec and everything like that. So there's no Spark submit needed. It just directly creates the K8s objects.
Yeah, agreed. We need to revisit the need for a such an interface. But yeah, but I was
usually, why was the decision behind Spark submit compared to just create a driver and the workers?
Oh, because the pod template thing only came along for Spark since Spark 3.0, and previously when this operator project was first created, that was in Spark 2.4, 2.3 era, and back then it wasn't possible.
So basically, the API, the pod template spec, was not part of Spark job CRD, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Was it 3.0 or 3.3 or something like that? I don't remember when it was introduced.
I don't recall either. I thought it's a 3.0, and I've been saying 3.0. Maybe I've been making mistakes all along, but
I'm even curious, like why folks at Google decided to not introduce pod templates back on their driver initially. Is it
No,
because, yeah, good.
yeah, they wanted to. It's just that Spark didn't support it. Yeah, Spark itself didn't have that support.
I see.
Yeah. The only other way is you stand up Spark in standalone mode, like you stand up the master and the workers separately with stateful sets, and you have a headless service that the workers communicate. And then you can scale this. You can scale the stateful service. You can scale the stateful set manually, but that doesn't use the Kubernetes backend, so that wouldn't support dynamic allocation.
Yeah, but that's not Spark on Kubernetes. It's
Yeah, there is.
That's
Yeah.
that's completely different. Yeah.
I know there is also an initiative to actually support dynamic allocation within jobs and job sets. Like, I don't know if you're aware of this project, but we had some conversation around, like maybe like, Spark job should also use the job sets for their implementation, because they also have the concept of, like multiple templates for every replica. Like, for example, have a lot, like for MPI, right, use cases. So for MPI, it's kind of similar, right? They have a launcher and they have like your workers, and you spin up your training on top of all those, like cluster-based infrastructure. So it would be interesting to see if Spark Job also can utilize those CRDs during their submission. Because the Spark Job, from the orchestration perspective, it's similar to what JobSet is doing, if that makes sense. They also have a headless service creation, which allows the communication between the workers. And you can have a special template for master and special templates for workers, if that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, but to push this effort forward, I think we need the author of the PR to be present, and also yeah. But in the meantime, we can already provide some feedback for additional details to be included.
And this PR for the performance, the queue, right, that we discussed last week, it hasn't been merged, right, to the upstream.
No, it hasn't. So the previous PR was created based on before we did the major refactoring. So I don't think it's mergeable anymore, because the whole code base got changed a lot.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think it also wasn't. Do we have another topic to discuss?
That's all from me.
Right. Yeah, I think it was another topic around, making Spark operator work with Istio, right? So I guess, do I have any experience on how actually Spark operator can work with network policies? Or we don't know anything about it?
Yeah, I think back in the days, maybe 2 years ago, we had some initial investigation, but that project was paused. And yeah, but I don't imagine any issues with the Istio integration, because Istio, it's I'm not familiar with how it works exactly, but my understanding is that it's a service mesh that intercepts some traffic within the cluster and do some operations and some modifications to it. It should be transparent to the operator. I saw the GitHub issue, but I wasn't sure like what problems that person was facing.
Yeah, because another idea could be just disabling Istio sidecar. So Istio sidecar is the proxy, which proxied the entire traffic to the to the pod via the Istio sidecar. I think it has some limitations, and for some use cases, we're just disabling, and you can disable it via annotations on the pod. So why just doesn't disable it if we want to run Spark operator with the namespaces where Istio is enabled, right? Because we mostly, so for Kubeflow use cases, we mostly use Istio for the gateway. Like, we have these multiple UIs, like we have UI for like model registry, for pipelines, and we serve all the UIs via the central gateway, right? So then, like in the central dashboard, you can basically have all those UIs served from the same ingress gateway, API gateway, right? And this is not, I guess, is useful for Spark, right? Because Spark is just a workload, right? That you can trigger in these namespaces. Yeah, I think we need some more clarification from Julius and Milas. What exactly does they want to have, right? They have this issue in the manifest, right? And I think Julius was asking about network policies, if I remember correctly.
It was just about, I think it was just about whether Istio worked with it at all. I can't say I've used Istio with Spark in general, so yeah, he said he was unfamiliar with the details, but just asking if it's a blocker. But I'm not sure if Istio is just used for ingress on the Kubeflow cluster. I don't think it matters for, because the operator's only really used the webhook, right? The only network traffic is between the API server and the controller, or between the webhook and the API server. there's no ingress from the operator itself. You might want ingress for the Spark driver pods. Maybe if you're trying to bundle it with Kubeflow and that already uses Istio, maybe there's a use case there. But for the actual operator itself, I don't think Istio is needed.
Yeah, I think we need to follow up with Istio. Oh, sorry, with Julius. I think Julius just asked about security context, right? And just to see what exactly does he mean by that.
Yeah. I think we already support the security context that they're patching with Customize. I think we can just upstream that exact security context if that's what's needed. I think we already support the read-only root file system, run as non-root, and that's all supported already. I think we just need to upstream it into the chart so they can remove that part from the Customize manifest. But yeah, I'd be curious on the Istio part.
A security context, so does it mean that you need to apply security context for every Spark application?
Oh, Spark applications, maybe. I thought he was just talking about the operator pods.
Yeah, because looking like you share my screen, so
I'll be careful with the installing sidecars for Spark pods. It's going to be too many and lots of overhead.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess like this is what he mentioned, right? It doesn't work with Istio sidecar true. So my question is like, why do we even need to make Spark application work with Istio sidecar true? What is the main motivation for it? And the second thing, we're missing security context in this example, right?
Oh, it's actually the application. Okay.
So my question, why do we need security context for Spark application, right?
Isn't it just a fairly common security policy, I guess? Like I know that we definitely enforce run as non-root, not read-only root file system, but we definitely enforce running as non-root.
Yeah,
is this a guideline at a Kubeflow level, or is this more of a specific?
Yeah, this is what I want to ask him, because we don't have the similar guidelines on training, for example, right?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we don't run. We even like disable Istio by default because Istio blocking, for example, traffic from public data sets. Like you need to configure your proxy if you want to, for example, get the data from Hugging Face, right? And get more.
Yeah.
And I can see. So this is their. I guess this is the Spark. Okay, this is the actual installation of Spark application in the manifest repos. I can see this is the example. And right now they're using the sidecar with false, and I don't know why he wants to enable it as true.
Yeah, you shouldn't need it for Spark.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Anyway, I think we just need to follow up on the thread and just to understand like what exactly Julius means by that.
I can post a message on the thread if you'd like.
That's good. Any other topics you want to talk about?
I was going to mention Spark Connect. I've had a bit of a play around with it at work. I understand a bit more how it works now. There's no real easy way to spin it up on K8s unless you just hand roll the stateful sets or the driver pod with the Spark conf yourself. Is this something that would be valuable to add to the operator as an UCR?
Yeah, I think it would be. I haven't played with the Spark Connect that much myself, but it's gonna offer lots of value proposition to data scientists and many engineers, offering them the ability to troubleshoot interactively. Yeah, it will be a great addition for sure.
Yeah, because it doesn't use Spark submit. Like you don't run Spark submit to create Spark Connect. You have to start the pod with a specific. It's a specific class, the specific class inside Spark Core that starts up a server. It's I guess you could hand roll the I guess you could hand roll the jar yourself if you wanted to, but there's a shell script inside the bin folder that starts up the server. So you'd need to just create a pod spec and just manage the lifecycle of that similarly to how we manage it at the moment. So I think it should be easily doable. Because everything else would just be the same comp as the existing CR. So I think it's mainly just the entry point needs to change from the jar to the script, and you just need to expose a new port.
Yeah.
Why do we need another CR for this?
Because it's not really an application. If you tried to do it using the existing CR, you would have to specify like a jar or a Python script entry point. It actually starts, there's a shell script that runs Java start. There's a specific class inside Spark Core that starts up a Spark Connect server. I guess you could just point to that jar. Fair point. I guess you could just point to that jar. Maybe I should have played around with that.
Yeah, because I guess so. Right now I have only Spark application, right? CRD within.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was an issue. There was a GitHub issue where someone commented that they were able to start up Spark Connect using the existing CR by pulling the jars from Spark Core manually and just importing the startup code. I think like starting the server manually.
Okay, that sounds a bit hacky.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe something like a Spark Connect session CR will be a more elegant way of doing things.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much. There's no like large existing CR. You just need to reuse a lot of the existing fields because it's just a Spark driver and execute at the end of the day. So a lot of the same fields just need to change.
No.
Expose port 15,000 to start the shell script. I think the CR state machine, like the way the states flow, should be the same as well. I don't think there's any difference there.
Yeah, because another way you could just introduce the interactive parameter in Spark application CRD, right? Which will perform this replacement, right? If you just require additional orchestration, right? For interactive use cases. Yeah, I think it depends what you want to add under this Spark Connect CRD, right?
I think it would be most of the same specs, but just the entry point and the args fields would no longer exist because you're starting a jar that doesn't accept any arguments anyway. Or you're starting a shell script that starts the Spark Connect jar, which doesn't accept any arguments anyway. So I think you just get rid of like the main application class and the arguments I don't think would exist anymore.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, I might have a look at that and scope out how much work would be needed.
All right. Any other topics?
I think a good from my side.
All right. Then I think it's time to start the weekend.
Yeah, yeah. Let's have another follow-up after the new year. So we can definitely decide what time we should use for this meeting, so more folks can join. And I think like starting from January, we can maybe establish a few new hosts who can drive those meetings for different time zones, right?
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, everyone. So
Great.
see you soon. See you New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Bye.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
See you.